What is up, guys? Welcome to the Casual Wrestling YouTube channel, your headquarters for Raw, Smackdown, and casual wrestling content. Every week we hang out in Discord during Raw and Smackdown, then immediately go live for post-show reactions and breakdowns on YouTube and TikTok. If you want to support the channel, you can do that through YouTube memberships or YouTube super chats. I am currently watching the YouTube chat. Lauren, you are going to be watching the
TikTok. Yes,
TikTok
I got my
chat,
phone
correct?
turned back on. Yes, I did.
I'm going to move your squares off a little bit. There you go. You're better now. So if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to talk about, go ahead and throw that into the chat. And Lauren, you kind of jot those down, and I will call for them at a certain point in the show, and you can kind of hit me with what everybody's been talking about, what everybody is asking. Housekeeping, Bash at Berlin VIP watch party, August 31st. We will be watching the main event of the show and then doing a little post-show reactions for you guys. So if you want to hang out, I believe that show is like mid-afternoon. It's one of the weird timed premium live events. If you see it right now, if you're in the YouTube chat, we are doing the first ever, Lauren, the inaugural version of the Wavy D Baddie of the Night Award.
Is that only happening tonight?
It's going to be every Monday and every Friday. We are going to have the Wavy D Baddie of the Night Award. So the nominees tonight: Rhea Ripley, Maxine, Liv Morgan, and Samantha Irvine. You can vote on that in the YouTube chat. So if you're in the TikTok chat and you want to be a part of the Wavy D Baddie Awards, jump over to YouTube and let us know. We'll do that a little later in the show. We'll talk about who won the Wavy D inaugural Baddie of the Night Award. And then there will be a shrine in the Discord where we kind of like with banners that commemorate who won on what night.
Yeah.
No Sonya Deville, Jim Cracked asked. No, I from now on, I didn't have time tonight, but me and Wavy D will confer about who the nominees are. We can only have 4 nominees, and I felt like Rhea, Maxine, Liv, and Samantha Irvine were proper for tonight.
Okay.
That's just based on tonight, based on what I saw tonight.
I'm going to have to get into the YouTube and vote right now.
All right. So let's start off the show on positive notes. I'm trying to keep the beginning of the show upbeat. Let's highlight the good of the night before we get into the big, hot, steamy shit I'm going to take on the rest of the show tonight. Because this is Bash at Berlin. We knew this was coming. We're not naive to what was happening, but there's more bad than good to talk. But let's start positive. Let's be positive.
Let's go. Let's
start with the good that I saw in the show, guys. The good that I saw in the show tonight was Bronson Reed continues to be the best thing on Monday Night Raw. He is the most interesting thing. That is now a product of being in this Bash at Berlin build. I understand. There are guys on Monday Night Raw who are more interesting. But right now, for the booking that we're getting, Bronson Reed is carrying Monday Night Raw from my perspective. Now, do I love that we're jumping into Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman? I think we could do better. I think there's better stories to tell. I don't think we need to jump into these two monsters going at it. I'm hoping, for the sake of Bronson Reed, I'm hoping that we're feeding Braun Strowman to the monster Bronson Reed, and we're creating the aura of Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed is a superstar. They finally started booking him in a way that makes sense and that people can get behind. This multiple tsunami thing is it's working as far as I can tell. The reality is, would have liked to see Miz get crushed a little more tonight. I think we were on to something with the multiple tsunamis. I would have held Braun Strowman for about 2 or 3 more minutes and let Bronson Reed get into the rhythm of these tsunamis. I wanted, Lauren, being this was Pat McAfee's last show, I wanted Bronson Reed to bring Pat into the ring and tsunami him and write him off of television. Me and Mike were talking in the chat. We think that there should just be a new thing. When you need to take a break from wrestling, right? When you want to take a vacation, because it's being reported right now that for the first time in a long time, wrestlers are allowed to ask for time off.
Okay.
They're allowed to go to Triple H and say, hey, I need a couple weeks off. But me and Mike think that we would call this getting Bronsoned. You need a couple weeks off. You
Getting Bronson?
You get Bronsoned. That means,
I like that.
That means you get sent out to the ring and Bronson Reed gets to tsunami you 6 times and then you take a break. You're gone from TV.
I like that.
So that's how you get your vacation. The way you get your vacation. Now, there may be some HR issues with this.
It's okay.
You know,
just let it happen.
that if you need a break and like, hey, my mom's sick. Well, you know what that means? You got to go get Bronsoned.
Yep.
But it feels like I have a little bit of a fear that we're rushing into this Braun Strowman thing. I liked letting Bronson Reed destroy these beloved superstars. We took out Seth Rollins. We took out R-Truth. I would have liked finish the job on The Miz. Go all the way with it. Let's do a couple more weeks of this before we just completely turn and throw Bronson into a story where, man, I hope this is not going to be a stone wall for Bronson Reed. I hope that they're not planning on trying to build Braun Strowman back up. Braun is cooked. Braun Strowman needed to be part of the Wyatt Six, not part of the Wyatt Six. We don't need a ton of he's a lumbering, he doesn't move well. I'm just not I don't dislike Braun Strowman, but I don't need him eating into my Bronson Reed storylines.
They didn't build him up to be the monster that he really could have been.
Yeah, so like there can only be one monster at a time. And we have our monster. We've hitched our wagon to our monster. The Bronson Reed is our monster. That's our guy. Last week when Pat McAfee called him King Kong, King Kong is my monster. The tsunami is my monster. And I was talking to Wavy D in the Discord. I think we're about due a ring implosion, Lauren. We're about due.
What does that mean?
So
ring implosion?
About every couple years we get where the ring explodes, and it usually happens once we get a couple of these big meaty guys in the ring at the same time. So the idea that we're getting Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman in the ring at the same time, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of men, a lot of meat in the ring at one time. It feels like we're getting to where we could have the ring fall apart.
That is a lot of man meat.
A good ending to a Monday Night Raw would be a main event of Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, and the ring falling apart. But I want it to happen.
Bring Omos back or Omos back.
Don't bring Omos back. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't need to do that. We don't need that man. We don't need that man. Does not need to wrestle anymore. It usually happens when you do a suplex off the top ropes, right? But I want to see them sell the tsunami in a way that like the ring can't handle Bronson doing tsunamis over and over. So on like the 7th tsunami, I want him to land on top of Braun Strowman and just the ring just implodes. It just falls apart.
That would be freaking crazy.
Well, there's your monster. That becomes your monster. So that's a positive. Positive for Monday Night Raw is Bronson Reed continues to look like a surprise heel. Mm-hmm. We talked about this last week, right? Super villains. That's your super right now. That's your super. That's your Thanos. That is the guy he's in the works to become the big baddie, the overarching bad guy that nobody can beat. And so he needs to beat Braun Strowman so we can get to that point.
Yes, sir.
The other positive I have tonight is the Judgment Day and Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan. They continue to be a bright light in WWE. Bless you. I saw that coming.
I knew. Something in here makes my allergies go crazy. I'm not sure what.
But yeah, so they continue to be a bright light on Monday Night Raw. In a time where right now the booking is suspect with Bash at Berlin. Don't love the main event that we're getting. Don't think that Randy Orton and Gunther. We'll get to that. We'll talk more about it. But the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, they continue to be a bright light. And what I thought was a little bit of an afterthought.
Yeah.
Chicken Tendy Dom is kind of a big deal. Okay? I was telling Mike in the Discord, right? We have Tiffy time on SmackDown. We got Tindy time on Monday Night Raw.
Tandy time.
Dominic Mysterio just gets who he is. He just gets who he is. And this was always the fear. This was always my knock. When I was super hyper critical about Dominic Mysterio, it was always under the guise that I thought Dominic wanted to be the face of the company. He wanted to be another Rey Mysterio. And the reality is that Dominic Mysterio knows who he is. He knows how to play the Weasley heel. And once again, we talk about Bronson Reed being the supervillain. Dominic Mysterio understands how to be the kind of sneaky snake in the grass, just like aloof but still masterminding heel. This new version of the Judgment Day works. I thought there was a fear that you remove Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest from the Judgment Day and all of a sudden they're irrelevant. I think that this new version of the Judgment Day with Finn Balor, with JD, with Liv, with Dom, with
the Misfits.
They're a group. They're a rat pack, right? I called them dirty rats. They're dirty rats. They are street trash. They may not take that name on, but they are street trash. They are exactly what you want. That sneaky heel, nasty, dirty, cheaty. They have no problem cheating. The problem with Damian always was trying to kind of come off noble. Don't come help me. Don't assist me at the ring, right? Whereas it feels like this group is built upon like we're just always all six of us going to be around. We're going to be a pack of wolves, and we're always going to be on the attack. So that's another positive that I'm seeing from Monday Night Raw. The other positive I'm getting is I like tournaments. We're going to have an Intercontinental Championship tournament. I think that right now they need to build somebody up to feed to Braun Breaker. I think a tournament is a good way to do it because
who do you think they're going to sacrifice to him?
Man, it looks like it's going to be Jey Uso, and I think that's a bad idea. It looked like after tonight that there's a possibility that they're going to run the angle of like Jey Uso avenging Sami Zayn. And I don't really love that idea. I don't love that idea. That to me.
Question.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite Uso brother?
Jimmy. We've been on record. We did this.
Just checking.
Jimmy's my favorite Uso.
Just checking.
But I like Jey. I've been a champion of Jey. I've seen the praises of the Yeet. But I'm a Jimmy Uso guy. So, all right. So, as we transition, we'll transition to what I hated. Lauren, I want you to watch the chat because after I talk about what I hated, I want to bring up what everybody's talking about or any questions that get dropped in. So, if you can kind of maybe make a list or something, I don't know.
Okay, so like questions in TikTok and in YouTube? Yeah,
just anybody who drops a question, anything that they want to talk about, can you kind of jot that down so that as I go through what I hate, then we can transition into to questions that are being asked or just conversations that are happening that I'm not that quite aware of because I've been made aware by quite a few people that I'm choppy. I go from my opinion to the chat too quickly and that I need to break that up.
Okay.
I need to say my opinion and then address in the chat that sometimes mid-opinion I jump off and talk about something else.
You pull a Lauren.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So I've tried to segment this a little bit tonight where I can go back and forth. So let's talk about, now it's time for me to take my hot fluffy shit on top of Monday Night Raw because this was not a good Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
With all encompassing, looking at the entire show, this was not a good Monday Night Raw. And now I'm going to be smart when I talk about this in the sense that I understand why we are in the position we're in. When we have these events like Bash at Berlin that are fan service events, we get forced into booking certain matches for the fans, a la Randy Orton and Gunther, right? that main event was bleh. It was I knew it when I saw it. When I saw at the beginning of the show that this is standard vanilla WWE booking. This is start the show, Randy and Gunther back and forth, which we'll get into in a second, ending with Gunther's sidekick picking a fight with Randy Orton, and we're going to finish the night with Randy Orton as in a match with Ludwig Kaiser in which Gunther's going to get involved with. That's all vanilla. That's all standard WWE bullshit. That is the stuff that we give Triple H all this credit, but he still goes back to the well with certain tropes that are just staples in wrestling that I don't think go over well. But we got to talk about Gunther. We have to talk about Gunther because originally, when the Snooze General stuff started, when Mike coined Gunther the Snooze General, it was a bit for me.
Okay.
I was playing up to I thought it was funny. I've never particularly found Gunther to be extremely interesting, but I never found him to be boring. I just think he kind of existed in a world of wrestling that I didn't really care about. Okay? But now we shined a spotlight on him. We shined a spotlight on Gunther, and all of a sudden, the things that we've been saying as a joke are weirdly becoming real to me, or weirdly becoming apparent to me.
Okay.
Gunther's promo in the ring tonight was horrible.
No.
And I don't say that lightly.
Not Gunther.
I'm not making light of, there are people who cut okay promos. If we broke down a script, which I might do tomorrow on Mike and D, I'd like to go back and type out the script of the exact words that Gunther said.
Okay.
They're like elementary school. He's like a little kid.
Do you remember the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he was like a kindergarten teacher?
Yes.
It kind of reminded me of that.
I can see that.
I'm the teacher. You listen to me.
I don't know if Gunther struggles with language, if there's a language barrier. I mean,
it's a dumb question, but like he speaks English, right? Like fluently?
Fairly. I mean, you can tell it's not his first language. You can see that there's, I mean, that there's, he most likely speaks other languages.
Is he married? Who's his wife? Is she American? Is she
I
German?
don't know. These are weird questions for the direction we are headed, though.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
You're fine. You're fine. And we can talk about that. But I want to get to the more important point I'm trying to make is that we really have to be honest when we talk about Gunther. In between the bells, bell to bell, he is as good as anybody. He is as good as anybody. Not better than everybody. He is as good as anybody. But we have to be honest. Right now, when Gunther is handed a microphone, he is not stepping up. He's making Randy Orton look like John Cena right now. Which Randy Orton, not particularly just phenomenal at the back and forth either. Randy not bad, but Randy not known to be just the greatest promo in the world. And Randy's running circles around Gunther right now. And it's just like, here's the problem. This is the biggest problem. Right now, the crowd, Gunther is fighting the crowd. He's pushing back against the crowd. And I hate the argument. There's this argument that gets made that, well, if the crowd reacts, then it has to be good. That's not necessarily true, because the reality is right now the crowd is reacting to the fact that they love Randy Orton. So you have such a good guy that they automatically dislike the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
But what the crowd wants right now, and I don't know if this is Triple H, I don't know if this is Gunther, someone is afraid to pull the trigger on the anti-American heel. The crowd began chanting USA. They are begging Gunther to take a shot at the United States of America. And what I tried to say in the Discord is I get, We Too Deep hit me with, do you think they're afraid of like a Nazi comparison with Gunther, right? Of like a Soviet general.
Isn't that their whole, like, aren't they going for that? Or
No,
did I miss
no.
the mark?
So I think they're implying it without wanting to cross that line. And I don't think that WWE they don't want that stereotypical like heel that's based upon a country. So I get that. But one thing Kaiser does well is Kaiser does the kind of European excellence bit, right? And I think Gunther could learn from that. I think Gunther could learn from being more European. Lay into the Europeans are better. Don't don't go with the angle that Germans and Austrians, that they're better, but lay into this idea of like, really doesn't even have to be European. It really, Gunther should take on it's the United States against the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Gunther should have laid into when they start chanting USA, Gunther should have immediately brought up the Olympics and been like, you guys couldn't even win the most gold medals. Right?
True.
Less about being pro-German or pro-European. He just needs to lay into being anti-American. I think the minute he lays into being anti-American, the crowd will eat the shit up.
Like Rusev, right?
Like Rusev, but Gunther is more believable than Rusev ever was to me. Rusev was a little gimmicky with Lana and some of those things. I think that Gunther, if he just walked that line and played a little bit anti-American, I really think that he could get over. And he's already over. That's the wrong thing to say. I think he could take that next step where we aren't going, oh, he's bad on a mic. Because I think he could always lean, when he got in trouble, he could just lean anti-American. I think that, I really think that should be the direction. The direction that Gunther's trying to take with Randy Orton doesn't make sense. And I know We Too Deep has said it's mind games and things like that. It just seems like such a hard reach to get the casual fan to understand that that's a mind game, that that's what he's trying to do. Whereas when you have Gunther come out and the crowd's chanting USA, and you start talking about you stupid Americans, you dumb Americans, you've got him. You've immediately hook, line, and sinker. You become the biggest heel in the industry.
True.
When you do that. And on the flip side, you may become the biggest baby face every time WWE leaves the United States.
True.
So it's an interesting, I just think.
You mean everybody doesn't love America?
No, definitely don't. So I definitely, there's a part of me that thinks there's a fear in them pulling that trigger, but that's the trigger that needs to be pulled if they want Gunther to be a top guy, because he doesn't have the individual mic skills. He doesn't have the Paul Heyman, right? Roman Reigns, you could say some of the same things about Roman Reigns that you say about Gunther, except Roman always had Paul Heyman. And so Paul Heyman was the ultimate crutch, right? He could get you out of anything. Paul Heyman could give you exactly what you needed to get the crowd turned against you. And so Gunther, if it's not Kaiser, I don't know why they're not letting Kaiser talk for him more. You have Kaiser great on a microphone. Kaiser can take a lot of the heat and say the things that they don't really want Gunther saying. Why not let Kaiser talk more? That would be interesting to me. The other thing I dislike tonight is we're just fucking doubling down on the bracelets. Someone said it in the Discord that they're obviously taking what I say and just shoving it back in my face week after week. Because CM Punk pulled out a pocket full of bracelets.
I saw that.
Like we're I get it, guys. I get the sentiment. I get that everybody keeps saying, like, it's not the bracelet, it's the meaning behind the bracelet.
Can I ask you something? Like,
what's that?
This is just my opinion, right? I feel like CM Punk now literally just always comes out and tells me these long stories about how much he loves the fans and like,
so,
you know, like.
Well, so, okay, let's turn off podcaster Nerdy D and let's talk logically.
Okay.
CM Punk's so good at playing both sides. He knows every little trick in the book. If he's going to be babyface, he's going to be the ultimate babyface. He's going to talk about your hockey team. He's going to tell you how much he loves you. He's going to play to all of the babyface tropes that get you over. He's doing a good job. The problem is that's not the best version of CM Punk. Mm-hmm. The best version of CM Punk is bad guy CM Punk. And I think we eventually get there. I just don't want to be on the fucking waiting line to get to that point. So I'm checked out, mentally right now because this bracelet shit is stupid. It's stupid. You spin it any way you want. It's sentimental. But you just pulled out a pocket full of 10 other bracelets. And then you just I think he tossed them on the ground. So if these bracelets mean so much to you and your wife's name and your dog means so much, you just throw that on the ground Well, now you're disrespecting their names. It just, to me, I'm ready for Drew McIntyre to beat the shit out of CM Punk. I'm ready for this. I'm ready. If this was the goal of what they did, like if the whole plan the whole time was to get Drew McIntyre over, sold. You win. You did the job, Triple H. I am 100% a Drew McIntyre guy, and I want him to beat the living shit out of CM Punk with that leather strap, wherever that match is.
I feel like there's something in the WWE water. I feel like all these older men are just getting buffer each time I see them.
Well, I think it's happiness. I've said this. People are a little more motivated when they're happy to go to work. I think that people are willing to compete right now. I think CM Punk's happy. Drew McIntyre's happy. All these guys are happy, so they're pushing, they're working out. Ryder said it's steroids. Could be steroids.
That's true.
But yeah, I do think I believe that like CM Punk, I have a temperament a lot like CM Punk. I do believe, right? Can be curmudgeon.
If you're not happy,
can be an asshole. I'm going to speak my mind. That's why every time CM Punk gets into these fights, I am sympathetic to him because I go, look, if shit's not right around you, you can't blame the person who's calling out the bullshit, right? You gotta fix the bullshit around me before you start getting mad at me for calling out the bullshit. That's how I've always felt.
All right, so are you ready for my question time?
Yeah, let's take some questions.
So I had a couple things. Okay, Wavy D told me that I had to ask this question no matter what.
Okay.
How many on-screen partners can a wrestler have before you look at them as a hoe?
This female?
This is from Wavy D. DJ Wavy D.
Is it before you look at him as
I'm going to say it from both angles because I think men and women, right?
Yeah.
D? I'm assuming Wavy D.
I don't know. To me, I never look at it that way because it's like a soap opera, right? I think that the reality is that, people have to rotate through partners and a lot of times their partner's not a romantic interest. The reality is,
true.
The reality, right, is that like Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio are playing like relationship and Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio are playing relationship.
Because they got like their own relationships.
No, well, I mean, they're playing on-screen relationships, but for the most part, like when Zelina Vega was Andrade's manager, that was never a romantic interest. It was just
true.
It was simply like a managerial position.
Yeah.
Like Maxine is not playing the boyfriend of Otis and Tozawa.
Yes, I agree.
So I don't know. I don't know that I've ever seen.
I separate them because I think people in my mind, like in wrestling, I know that they're going to change characters, so I just assume like, oh, they're a new character now, and
I think that's for me the same position I take is I almost have to reset my opinions every time a story finishes because there's no realistic story that is forever going, right? So you have to understand that certain characters like Liv Morgan is a reset. This is not necessarily the same Liv Morgan that we've seen. This is a different version of Liv Morgan. I think ultimately you could go back to like AJ Lee when she played the role of the crazy girl and she kissed Kane, she kissed Dolph Ziggler. I think she kissed maybe
I
Big
wasn't around for that.
She kissed Bryan Danielson. She kissed CM
this
Punk.
Before or after she was married to CM Punk?
This is when I think they started dating. She kissed him, and I think it sparked a lot of like he was in stories with her. So I think to me, I don't know that I ever take that mentality. I don't ever look at somebody who's on a TV show and go, "That's a hoe." Mm-hmm. Right? I don't place that kind of judgment because I kind of understand the overarching idea that like this story never ends. Liv Morgan will eventually probably have 3 or 4 more love interests if that is the character that she plays. Now I think if the intention is to come off that way, then maybe they could sell me on it. But I don't believe that like I would need the example of
I'll get some more clarification on that.
Who's had enough multiple partners that we could see them that way, right? Because like Scarlett and Karrion, they're together all the time. That doesn't work.
I'm sure Randall or Wavy D or one of them would
have an example.
They Google that shit and get it real fast.
Well, I'm sure that, yeah, I mean.
I'll put it on the list.
Okay. Do you have something else?
Yeah, so I think your general consensus as far as like our group is that basically, you know, they're not on the Gunther train with you. Ryder says he's just boring, and that one thing he has is intimidation and technical skills, but that compared to Randy Orton,
yeah,
like it's just not a good match.
It wasn't. I said that last week. Randy Orton was the worst person you could put Gunther in the ring with because Randy Orton is just the better version of Gunther in every category. And you can't say that about a lot of people, right?
Yeah, Ryder said that too.
In between the bells, Gunther's better than almost everybody except Randy Orton.
True.
So I agree with that take that Randy Orton is the worst person you could. And I get the storyline was set already. It was built. And if this was the direction you were going to go, I would have had Kaiser doing all of the talking.
That's kind of what they were saying too, is like let Kaiser talk.
But forcing Gunther to stand face to face now with a confident Randy Orton, because it almost looks like Randy now. It's the old thing, like when a shark smells blood or tastes blood.
Yeah,
it kind of looks to me like Randy's tasted the blood, and he's looking at a fighter that he knows doesn't have it when it comes to promos.
Did you notice how oiled up that Kaiser was tonight?
I didn't.
All right.
That's not something I typically would notice.
Well, Ryder definitely did.
That's funny. That's funny. But I also was doing a lot of last minute prep during that main event because I had no interest.
I didn't see that part. I actually did. I'm not gonna lie. I did not see So I saw Randy come out, but I didn't see them talk to each other. You know, I saw Randy, and then I was like, okay, we're done. We're good.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did. That was the very beginning that they talked to each other.
Yeah, I fast forwarded. I was like,
Ryder says that man was oily. I'll go back and rewatch it.
I'm going to go back and look for it.
I literally had zero, because I knew exactly what was going to happen in the main event. It was so, I know I saw them when I said vanilla, that they're all saying Vanilla's great, Vanilla's great, Vanilla's great. No. Vanilla's good. It is. Vanilla's perfectly fine, but Vanilla's predictable. You don't go to 4 different ice cream places.
Apparently, vanilla is the #1 flavor of ice cream in America.
Sure, and WWE is too. And WWE spent the last 10 years under Vince McMahon doing vanilla stuff and still being the #1 wrestling company. The problem is good vanilla ice cream is always going to be vanilla ice cream.
True.
When you get that
Mexican vanilla is better.
When you get that other flavor that is extremely good, it's better than everything else.
Side note.
Yeah.
Alexis, who joined us on YouTube from TikTok.
What's up, Alexis?
She let me know that Gunther's actually married to an Indian woman.
Okay. What is that?
I just wanted to let you know because I had asked you that question. Like,
well,
who was she
I've
married
seen
to?
this. Why? I don't know what that. I mean,
I didn't know who he was married to.
Oh,
I know,
okay.
like in my mind, I am married. Imagine that he just married like a German woman.
No.
That's what I imagined.
He's recently married, and I think she's a wrestler.
Yeah. That. Then somebody else told me that she was like in NXT and that she came up from there, and so then that's how they kind of did that. And then apparently Wavy D has like a whole list of questions that he now asks our people.
Hold on.
When they
Can somebody please tell Alyssa Stansberry that I think she's referring to dental control?
What
she
I
called them the unholy unit, and around here we call them dental control.
Oh, is that their real name, the unholy unit?
I believe so.
All right.
It's something like that. I only know them as dental control.
Daddy, don't shop
That's all I know.
at the body shop.
Anything else?
Dom is a player. He's a PIMP. Vanilla is safe. That's pretty much what it is. Everybody pretty much agreed with you. We were all kind of on the same page as far as Gunther goes.
So okay, then I'll give Raw my score while the chat continues to go.
Read it.
3 out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Really?
Tonight. I thought it was bad. I really thought it was bad. The Wyatts are a mess to me.
What did you think of my girl Maxine?
As far as what?
Her performance tonight.
She was in there for 2 minutes.
I know.
It
actually was not believable for her to fight. What's her name?
Yeah, I mean,
what's the bulldog? She called herself the bulldog. That's why I only know her name.
I know you're talking about Ivy Nile.
Yeah. Doesn't have the mic skills just quite yet, in my opinion. She's missing like a little, like for being a bulldog. She's like, I'm the bulldog. I'm so nice, so demure, so classy.
I don't know what you're watching.
She was just like
it's Pitbull, not like, Bulldog.
Bulldog, Pitbull. My bad. I knew it was something dog, but like she just is. If she's gonna be like the gritty like Pitbull, I need her to be more.
I don't know what you're taking from that. I don't see her as gritty.
Like that's what to me. That's what I see her as.
I don't think that's what she's being
And
packaged
what is she supposed
as.
to be?
They're like legitimate
All
fighters.
American, but
yeah,
still,
all
aren't-
American's
she's
not
like
gritty.
Strong, like
No, she's not being so like. Tell me one thing they've done to package her that way.
I don't know because that's what I'm asking you. I'm confused on like what is she? Is she just like an American girl? Like
She just. I mean, their original gimmick was like the diamond fighting. They were like MMA fighters. So I don't think she's not. I think you're placing a gimmick on her that's never been placed.
that's what I'm
upon her.
saying. I don't know. I'm asking what is her gimmick?
Yeah,
is
like
she?
Ryder says, like she's just a badass. Like they're real athletes. They have real athletic talent. Is what they are. That's kind of she does pull-ups with chairs around her neck, Lauren. That's what she is.
She's a fucking. She's
Oh
strong
hell
as
yeah!
shit.
Randall said they need to get the "Born in the USA" for their theme song.
Oh, that would be
That
so
would be
cool.
dope.
I do like them as a group though. I'm
That's
not gonna
one
lie.
thing. That's one thing. I don't hand out compliments to Tony Khan very often.
Yeah.
But Tony Khan understands the need for like certain theme songs and will go out and pay for them, whereas WWE is just going to ask Def Rebel to go knock it off,
Yeah, I don't like
which
that.
really feels sleazy to me.
It's very sleazy.
All right, Lauren, let's so in recognition of the fun segments that Wavy D tends to bring to the show,
Okay.
I thought that we need to immortalize him with a new award that we are calling the Wavy D Baddie of the Night Award.
Okay.
And so the winners will be immortalized in the Discord with a banner that will hang in a certain section to let everybody know that on this night, this person was voted the baddie of the night. Interesting
it?
enough. Here we go.
That's my drum roll.
The contenders tonight were Rhea Ripley, Maxine Dupree, Liv Morgan, and Samantha Irvine. If you're not in the YouTube, you missed out on getting to vote for this. With 7% of the vote, Samantha Irvine got 4th place.
Okay.
With 21% of the vote, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan tied
4.
2nd
21%.
place.
2nd place.
Maxine is the first ever Wavy D.
I'm pretty sure she was my baddie.
Was she on top of your list? Did you ever make your tier maker?
No, I did not. But I made a mental tier maker.
So, Maxine, the first ever Wavy D inaugural baddie of the night.
I knew it. I knew my girl would pull through.
We'll raise the banner. We'll raise the banner later tonight and put her in the Discord. Not gonna lie. Not
Yeah?
gonna lie.
Were you surprised?
No, she definitely stepped it up tonight.
Her pink outfit was
her
very
new
cute.
wrestling gear
Loved it.
is fire.
Beautiful.
Definitely
Be-
fire.
Beautiful. I saw the pink and I was like, damn, girl.
Yeah, Wavy D says Rhea and Liv didn't step up tonight like they normally did, and Maxine brought the heat tonight. I agree.
We only saw Liv for like that hot minute in like the cuts with Dom, right?
She was also in the ring beating the shit out of Rhea Ripley.
Okay, I didn't see that part.
Yeah,
I stepped out for a minute.
That did happen, but she just was in all black.
I know.
All right.
With the money.
Time for a new segment. During Monday Night Raw, I was flipping through different media, X, Instagram, couple wrestling websites that I read, and I wanted to bring couple bad takes to the table that we could talk about. So this segment we're calling, Now That's a Bad Take.
All right, let's do it.
So the first bad take that I have came from, got this off of X. I'm not going to read who it is, but I will just tell you what they said. They said, every week I read about how the Wyatt Six are boring people and nobody cares about them. And then every week they get a top 3 reaction from the crowd, which means the people bashing them are either not watching or they suffer from hearing problems. That's a bad take. That's
Okay.
a bad take, and I'll explain to you why.
Tell me why.
I said it earlier. Just because you're getting a reaction does not mean you're over with the crowd. It just means that the crowd in the moment is excited for what's going on. I am going to say, over time, when the lights are off, the Wyatt Six are great. What did they do tonight, Lauren? They kept the lights off.
They did.
They never turned the lights on.
There was smoke.
There's smoke. There's flashing. Wyatt Six are great in the dark.
I love
if they
them in the
could
dark.
wrestle every match in the dark, they'd be spooky. They'd be scary. They'd be great. The problem is there's so much wrong outside of these one-off. These one-off appearances are great. I have no problem when they pop up and they beat somebody up.
The doll girl, what's her name? I forgot.
Ivy Nile.
No, doll, not dog.
Oh, Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross. She does that part very well. Like she plays creepy good.
That's fine, but once she takes the mask off, it's what? It's what? And then tonight they showed up. They didn't even have masks tonight. So it's like they've dropped the mask. I said this last week.
Yes.
Triple H has told them to go rework this, and they still don't know what's happening. Is the stream going bad again?
I don't see it on TikTok.
I see people saying they have lag and RIP stream.
Rip stream. Yeah, a few problems. Who took it?
Trying to check it here. Yeah, we're still dropping frames.
What's going on, bruh?
It's the internet. All right, where was I? We'll get back into this. We're talking about the Wyatt Six, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as the lights are off, they're fine. When the lights turn back on, it's just not the same. And so you notice they kept the lights off. I said last week they needed to rework the costumes, that Triple H is not happy with this. And honestly, it definitely, something was different tonight, but I don't think it worked again. I think it was definitely still not working. Do we need to kill the stream and come back?
I haven't seen anything yet. But
They're all saying lag.
Let me retry to drive back on YouTube.
You what?
I don't see
There's
it,
no
but
lag
like
on your end?
no.
All right,
It's coming back, it said.
All right, it's coming back. All right, let's pick up. We'll go to the next take.
Maybe
The next take I have here is McAfee taking a break is addition through subtraction.